Process control. Everything is a process. Everything. Everything is a series of steps, all related to form a process. Everything you do, everything in this world. And in this case, we're talking about manufacturing and food safety. Take a look at this chart. There are 4 filling lines represented on this example chart. This is an example, this is not real data, with their weights being recorded every hour. Note the line for target weight and the line for the maximum allowable variation. The target weight can be referred to as an operating limit, while the MAV line can be referred to as a critical limit. These are terms we use in process control: operating limit, critical limit. It is customary to always set your operating limit at a point where your process variability does not result in any readings exceeding your critical limit. In this example, the fill weight process variability is too great to ensure that product does not exceed the critical limit. And in fact, there seems to be a lot of product being underfilled. This can be a significant legal risk and certainly is unfair to your customers and your brand, all because of the extreme variability in your filler and how you are filling your products. Clearly, this process needs to be adjusted, and all of the affected product needs to be put on hold and evaluated. Now, to prevent this problem from reoccurring, there are 2 and only 2 possible solutions. One is raise your operating limit high enough so that the process variability does not result in underweights. Increase your fill weights to ensure no container is ever underweight. Number 2, reduce the process variability so that there are no underweights. Unfortunately, many people would choose option number 1 because it is easy. Note also that this process isn't even averaging the target weight but appears to be well over it. This process is out of control with no predictability. Any fill weight might happen at any time, and chances are good that increasing the fill target will make this process even more variable, resulting in even more underweights, as counterintuitive as that may seem. The other problem here is product overpack, or sometimes called product giveaway. Product giveaway is a serious and unfortunately very common problem. The thinking is, might as well be sure there aren't any underweights or something along those lines. The problem with this line of thinking is the cost. Making 3 pounds of product in order to fill every 2.5 pound container is a great way to kill profit margins. No customer is entitled to more than they paid for. They're just entitled to what they paid for. So the correct answer is number 2. Reduce the fill variability so that your process looks something like this. Everything about this fill weight record looks much better. There are no underweights, and product giveaway looks to be minimal. In fact, it appears as if this process is predictable enough that they may be able to reduce their target weight a little further, depending on what their label weight or declared weight is. It is safe to say that this fill process is better for the customers and for the business. It's probably easier for the line operators to manage also. Everybody wins when you reduce variability in your process. So this is an example of the tremendous power and importance of process control. That was fill weights. Let's look at this another way. Process control in food manufacturing is important in many areas, but it is critically important in fill, as we just saw, and also in temperature control. Temperature control for product quality is very important for sales and success of the business, but temperature control for food safety is even more important. Setting the correct operating limits and critical limits and establishing good process control is vitally important. You must ensure that your product is at the correct temperature at the correct time to guarantee food safety. So let's look at an example of this. It should be pretty obvious with this chart what is happening here. Cooker number 1 is operating perfectly, while cooker number 2 may be making unsafe food. Clearly, something different is happening with cooker number 2 than what is happening with cooker number 1. Aside from segregating the affected food and determining its ultimate disposition, the cause of this potentially unsafe variability must be determined and, of course, corrected. The same process choices exist here as in the previous example. Number 1, turn the set point higher and cook the product hotter, or number 2, reduce the process variability. I think by now the correct answer in process control is pretty obvious. Data collection and measuring tools. Collecting process data requires knowledge of your process and of the tools required. Continuous monitoring and recording is always best, but it is not always possible. Even when continuous recording is in use, you must still monitor the readings to ensure immediate awareness of critical values. Do not rely exclusively on alarms. Alarms fail, and they must be tested periodically. When you are unable to continuously record, then you must determine what to measure, how to measure it, and maybe most importantly of all, how often to measure it. It is entirely possible to miss critical values in your process because they occurred in between your current measuring frequency, if your frequency is too far apart. It is always best to oversample initially to ensure that this does not happen. Over time, your data will show you the variability in your process, and you may be able to adjust frequency of collection accordingly. Your process control will only be as good as your data, and your data will only be as good as the accuracy of your measuring tools. In our examples of weight and temperature, the scales and thermometers used must be accurate and calibrated periodically. You must ensure that 32 ounces weight on your scale is in fact 32 ounces. Since scales and thermometers are pieces of equipment, they are prone to failure or drift and cannot be relied on indefinitely to be accurate. So you must have a program in place to ensure that their readings are always accurate. Certified scale weights and certified thermometers are used as the standards. Your equipment must be checked against them, and the results must be documented. So in closing, everything is a process. Everything is a series of steps that can be ordered and measured in some way. And every process has variability. If you are getting identical measurements, you aren't measuring fine enough. Measure to the tenths or the hundredths. You can always find variability. The key is understanding and appreciating this fact and using it to optimize your particular operation or operations. Your product quality, product safety, and business profitability may depend on it.